Welcome back. This is John again from iGeekPhone, bringing you the full review of the UMI Plus smartphone after about a week of usage. We will be looking at all the aspects of this phone to help you make an informed decision if you are looking to buy a new smartphone. UMI is a relatively new entrant into the highly competitive cell phone market in China. With many of the phones they've released, they are trying to distinguish themselves from others by offering a great phone at a great price. In this review, the first thing we will look at is the build quality. Coming in at just under 200 grams, the Plus offers a nice and sturdy feel when being held in the hand. The sleek brushed full metal unibody adds an additional premium feel to the device. Note that on the back of the UMI Plus, there are two panels hidden for the housing the antennas. But they did a great job in making it look seamless and almost unnoticeable. Continuing on, regarding the body, the phone has a beautiful curved screen which is also seamlessly transitioned into its smooth curved metal body, which also gives this a great and premium look and feel. On the side of this device, we have a dedicated shortcut button, which is a great feature that is not found on many phones nowadays. It is customizable to work with nearly any app or function that is on this phone and can be disabled via the settings screen as well. On the bottom of this device, we have the USB Type-C connector, which is becoming more and more common on phones as well as mainstream consumer electronics such as the newly announced Apple MacBook. One comment about the Type-C connector is that it seems to be a little more recessed in than normal. There are some cables and adapters that may not plug in securely because of this. To give you an example, we have an adapter here. This adapter does not fit securely and will fall out without much effort. Our second adapter here plugs in and clicks in securely and does not come loose easily. Lastly, it is the actual UMI Type-C cable that they supplied it with, and again, this is quite secure. So please be aware if you are buying this phone and that you have connectors already for your UMI, that it might not work with this and you might need to buy additional cables or adapters. You can see here the main difference is that some adapters just aren't long enough to really clip in. On the back of the device, we have a back-facing 13 megapixel Samsung's image sensor. This camera is extremely fast at taking pictures with little to no shutter lag. To give you an example, watch here for the actual pictures that is taken. Very little lag at all in terms of taking pictures. Overall, however, this camera is acceptable for basic pictures. However, the colors displayed can be slightly off if there is insufficient lighting. In low lighting settings, the pictures can be grainy or noisy at times. Video-wise, we have similar performance as the camera when it comes to picture quality. However, it does shoot at full 1080p resolution and has image stabilization to help you while recording. If you're recording with very little movement, the pictures are very nice. On the front of the camera, we have a slick, curved 2D glass display. Originally in our unboxing, we mentioned we did not know whether or not what was on the glass that they used with UMI. But some research, we have found that they use Dynorex T2X-1 chemically strengthened glass made by Nippon Electric Glass of Japan. Online blogs have reported that tests on abuse with this glass with competitors such as Gorilla Glass and Dragon Trail Glass is about comparable. Dynorex will protect your screen in the same way. Under the glass, we have a sharp 5.5-inch display which offers great viewing angles and immersive colors in its display resolution of 1080p Full HD. On the top, this phone has what is called as Harlequin LED notification, which is a multicolored LED notification light that can blink, pulse, and transition to other colors. It is customizable as well in the settings page. On the bottom of the phone, we have this screen navigation bar, which is customizable on the settings screen as well. They also hid two capacitive buttons on either end of the touch finger button. You will see if we press this, it brings up the menu, while if we press this side, it is the back button. So it's great that it has those buttons there, so if you want to hide the software navigation buttons, you still have buttons on the side. In the center, we have a highly accurate and responsive fingerprint sensor that also acts as the home button. You have seen so far throughout the video that we have unlocked the phone using the fingerprint, and it's really responsive. Be aware too that the fingerprint scanner also acts as a home button, so if you hold on to it, it will bring up the multitasking window with your recently run apps. Spec-wise, the phone's Helio P10 octa-core CPU and 4 gigs of RAM is more than enough to allow the phone to run basically any apps and processes relatively quickly in the foreground or the background. Our original Antutu score when we did this unboxing gave us a score of 49,716. However, if you can see here, after loading our apps onto the phone, it came up with a slightly higher score of 49,877. When coupled with the large 4,000 milliamp hour battery, we were able to run this phone on medium use throughout the day without having to charge. So this is a 24-hour period. While if on high heavy use, we were able to get 6 to 7 hours of usage on gaming, GPS, and web browsing. In terms of charging, this supports Pump Express, which is MediaTek's quick charging technology, and is able to charge from 10% up to 100% in just under 2 hours. Obviously, this depends on the output capacity of the charger you are using. Some have mentioned that the UMI Plus has issues reception and with the GPS. Based on our tests, cellular reception works perfectly fine and is expected when compared to other phones we have tested in the past. 4G connectivity is perfectly fine as well. We will run a test now to show you the 4G connectivity. So currently we are connected to 4G. You can see from our previous tests that our speeds averaged about 50 to 60 megabits per second down and 20 megabits to 40 megabits per second up. We will just change the servers and see if we can get better results. So we will test the test speed again. So as you can see, after changing to a server that is nearer to us, the speed on 4G came up at 70 megabits per second down speed and 23 megabits per second up speed. So you can see this phone has very good and strong connection speeds. Another feature of this phone is the Wi-Fi. It is a dual band Wi-Fi, meaning it supports 2.4 gigahertz as well as 5 gigahertz frequency simultaneously. It can support A, B, G, and N Wi-Fi. This Wi-Fi, compared to many of the other phones we have tested, operates really well. It does not do the best on faraway devices, but some of our other phones, but not many of them can compare to this phone in terms of Wi-Fi connectivity. In terms of the GPS test, it works perfectly fine. The only issue is that sometimes it can take slightly longer to make the initial GPS fix than other phones we have tested. We will now run a test on the GPS to show you how long it takes. So you can see here, it took about 5 to 7 seconds to get a GPS fix. We have seen other phones do better, but it's still perfectly fine with this phone. It will not drop signal and it keeps fixed relatively smoothly. Lastly, we would like to look at the audio on the UMI Plus. With the headphone jack, the audio output is really helped out by the amp, and the sound is crisp, clear, and deep. However, with the speaker sound, the external speaker falls flat. Without using the equalizer, the sound can be loud and clear, but the depth just is not there. It has a really metal sound, but this can be helped a little bit by equalizer. This should not matter too much to the casual listener, but it's something that should be taken into account when deciding whether or not this is the right phone for you. Here is an example of the sound that the external speaker generates. Please be aware, we also mentioned that this has a stereo speaker, but in actuality there is only one speaker which comes out of this port here. So to summarize, the UMI Plus offers great specs for a sub $200 smartphone. It has a premium feel, which because of the rounded metal unibody and rounded glass. It has adequate MediaTek Helio P10 CPU with 4 gigs of RAM, which will allow you to run any apps you require. The 4000 mAh battery is much larger than most other phones out there and will allow you to run all day without the need to really charge it constantly. It has good cellular and Wi-Fi connectivity with slightly slower initial GPS fix. The only slight shortcomings are that the camera does not always display true color, and the speaker is really flat sounding without the use of EQ. This has been the full review of the UMI Plus smartphone. Thank you for watching. This is John from iGeek Phones, and we will see you again on our next review.